I want to compete in Olympics and I want to be the best player in the world.
It actually makes me really emotional because he's just so great.
We're playing rugby, we're not on a catwalk.
It's for all shapes and sizes, and that's the whole point of rugby.
For me, the reason that I play with my hair down now is I've historically not been a very big player, and I lacked a lot of confidence in my tackling, and I was almost allowed to just be that fast player. And then came when I went to Wasps and I was kind of into the Prem, and I hit a few times and I felt super weak. But I kind of found that having my hair down, right, this is in my head again, this is an Angelina Jolie thing again, where I think I look like something that I don't. But I remember watching South African sevens, the men, and a lot of them have either got dreads or they've got the hair braided, and when they run they look, I mean, they are fast and their steps are crazy, but when they step, all the hair moves. When they run, it all flats, and they look ecstatic, if that's the word. Ecstatic. Electric.
What do you mean by ecstatic?
Like,
electric. I think we should go with electric. Okay. Yeah.
They look electric, and I used to play with a headband in my hair, but then I ended up taking it out, and that's genuinely how I feel now. Like when I'm stepping, when I'm running, when I go into contact, I can kind of see my hair flick forward, and it makes me feel stronger than I potentially am, because it makes me feel like the contact's harder, and it gives me like this I think tackling and the confidence into contact is such a mental thing.
Mental.
It's all up here. We all go to the gym, we're all strong, but if you're not in the tackle in your brain, you're not in it, and you're gonna miss that tackle because you're already thinking she's so much bigger than me.
Same the other way around. Like if you're carrying the ball and you think, oh, I'm gonna get chopped or I'm gonna get smashed, you're going to get smashed.
Yeah, you're going to get smashed. You've got to think, I'm going to beat this player.
Yeah, God.
So, yeah, I ended up having that as almost like my statement piece. So, yeah, when it rained, I kind of was thrown. I was like, what do I do now? What do I do now?
Still got player of the match, though, didn't you? So, obviously doesn't mean that much.
Thanks, Meg. Yeah, so I think, like, that was a big part of like why I wear my hair down, but also I think it is important to have a bit of an identity as well, and be confident in your identity, whether that's on or off the pitch.
I think as well it allows you to like change it though, like because I remember when I first got my cap, like I wore the two plaits, and that was like kind of like my identity, like, you know, two plaits kind of girl, like, oh, I want to have the two plaits like Jess, like, which is sweet, like it's nice, and I was really honoured, but I think also I grew out of it. It did make me look like I was about 12 years old. And now I don't really care. And I think like that is also good, like especially like even with you, like it did rain, but you put it up and you still felt like strong and powerful. And I think for us as back three players, we get a lot of stigma around, you know, weakness, or, you know, that we're tiny, or we're the smaller versions of the team, when actually we're not.
Actually, saying that, there was a few comments from either commentators or people that were on the mic or even on social media that over the Six Nations we did get a few comments on our body composition, that we probably are stronger than what we look, or we're the smaller back three in the game, whether it's against Ireland or whoever. And I don't know about you, but for me, I think it's something people have got to be very careful about.
They try and say it in a way that
backhanded compliment.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's not.
It's weird, because I know that an old version of myself, if someone said that, it would have probably made me.
It would trigger you. It would. 100%. It would trigger you.
I think it'd want me to be like small. Yeah. I want to be like, I'm small. Like, and that's why I think you've got to be very careful. At the end of the day, we're playing rugby. We're international rugby. Firstly, so we've got to be strong.
Yeah.
But secondly, why is it even? Have you not got anything else to talk about? Like,
is the game really that bad?
Is it that boring?
Yeah. That's
when you probably need to sing "Come On, Eileen," not comment on that. But yeah, no, it was something that during the Six Nations, it is something that people need to understand. You know, for us, that we're in a position mentally that it hasn't triggered us in a way that would have a bad effect. But I think people need to be careful that, you know, you don't need to comment on people's physical appearance the same way you wouldn't say to maybe one of our bigger girls, or that they're looking bigger than the other prop, or that they're looking smaller than the other prop. You we're playing rugby, we're not on a catwalk.
It's for all shapes and sizes, and that's the whole point of rugby, and the whole point of the game is that it doesn't matter what shape or size you are. If you've got an attribute that fits the team or that fits a position, then that's good. And I agree. It makes me tired talking about it, because I just think that we do our job to our best ability. We go to the gym 3-4 times a week. We do running sessions. Like, I remember Robin said to me in this campaign, our S&C coach for England, he said, what was your 1 rep max in the World Cup? So that was like roughly like 18 months ago, like nearly 2 years ago. And I was like, I don't know, maybe like 65. And he was like, yeah, it was. And he said, what is it now? And okay, disclaimer, maybe for people out there, this isn't that big, but for me it is. But I was like, I don't know, maybe like 80. And he was like, yeah. And he was buzzing, absolutely buzzing. I could not, he was like a Cheshire cat when he said it to me. He was like, yeah, 80. And I was buzzing. I thought the improvement that I have made in that time is unbelievable. But then for us to get shat on basically about our physique and how we look, it's mental. It is mental. We work so hard. We are lean players. We are muscular, strong, lean, quick players.
We just look different.
We just look different. And why does that matter?
It doesn't. And I think that's the thing that, one of my best memories, I'd probably put it there. So our backs coach, Lou, she's brilliant. And before every game,
Sorry, I know what you're going to say. I nearly choked on my water.
Still makes me smile so much. So before every game, she does like a different thing. And, there's been times that, you got to write something on, this example, we had to write on a piece of paper. So you picked up a random name out of a hat, and then you had to write one word on that piece of paper that was about the person that you got. And then people almost had to guess who it was about. Anyway, little Lucy Facker.
They're mates. Sorry, just
we're very close. And I didn't know that she had me, firstly. And when people would think of me, you probably think speed as one of something like that. And her word was strong. And honestly, she said it, and I was kind of looking around thinking, Meg, tat. And then people started going, Ellie? And I was like...
No, it was like, everyone went, Ellie? Like, really? Ellie?
And I was like, me? You think I'm strong? And then, honestly, to be fair, that was the game against, just before Wales. And 2 of the tries that I scored were like, almost like head on. And that's what I was saying, kind of going back to it, that the strength in tackles and being tackled is mental.
Yeah.
It's a mental thing. She said strong, and in my head going into that game I thought,
I'm strong.
I am strong because someone else has said it. And that's, again, linking this all back to the same thing, whether that's commentators, whether that's people commenting on social media, whether it's your friend or your teammate, just that little thing, whether it be good or bad, can really change your mindset. So
and it's a domino effect. Like, you got positivity before that game about your strength.
Yeah.
So then when you went into the game, you were strong.
Exactly.
So we all get taught it when we're younger. If you haven't got anything nice to say,
don't say it
at all.
Exactly.
But it's true. Like, if you haven't got anything positive to say, especially about someone's physique, someone's body, someone's image that you don't really know anything about, just leave it out. Yeah. You don't need to. You really don't need to. Exactly. And I think that's all we really need to say about that. Yeah. Because I get mad. Yeah. I get really mad.
I also do as well. We'll get to a space where people are saying different things, but ultimately we wouldn't be playing international sport if we weren't strong. And I think the weird space that rugby is in, that rugby, like you said, is for all shapes and sizes. And I think when people think of that statement, you probably think of the more physical girls, whether that's coming through school, you'd say to, the girl that's a lot taller than the rest of the girls, you should get into rugby. Yeah. But you don't necessarily go to the small girls. And I guess my message to all the young girls and boys out there, whether you're small, tall, strong, slim, it doesn't matter. Rugby genuinely is for everybody. You just got to find a way of making it your own. And, I've said it a lot, but when people ask me, how do I play? Or, you look so small, how do you not get injured? And fight or flight. What do you think I'm doing? I'm flying. I'm getting away. And that's why I do that. Of course, I don't want to be run over by Hannah Bottom. And of course I don't. That's why I play fullback. And hopefully everyone else makes second for me. But and it is kind of where the role models for those girls to say, look, run. And be good at running, but also you've got to be strong as well. You can't just be good at running, you've got to put the work in, and more needs to be shown in media of the work that we put in as well.
Well, going on running, a lot of questions came in from my Instagram, basically being
I'm laughing already at noise.
Please, who's quicker? Can you have a race? I'd love to see a race. Who's quicker? And Ellie knows, and if you know me, I hate that. I left athletics for a reason, and that was because of the pressure, the individual racing. It's not a bit of me. When we come to do speed in training, love it, obviously love it. Everything about speed I love. But we do sometimes like 40-meter like sprints and stuff, and Ellie all the time comes in my ear, can we have a race? And I'm like, leave me alone. Leave me alone. And it probably is sometimes because she needs to hit a certain percentage on her PB. So sometimes I take
Often we've got to hit over 90.
Yeah. But shall I tell you what? She always does it when Rory's about. And Rory is our videographer, right? And I see her eye him up, and she goes, today's the day. Today's the day that Rory's going to get the footage of me beating Jess. But
we have a staggered start. If you've seen that happen, we do have a staggered start. Or if you've seen it the other way, we have a staggered start. We don't actually set off at the same time.
But I'd just like to put it out there. Ellie and I, and, Abby Dow, a lot of our backs are really quick.
Yeah.
But you are not going to see a race. Sorry. In my end, it's not something that I enjoy. And
look direct at the camera there.
And it's not something that I want to do. But Ellie is really quick. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, she's going into the Sevens programme. So,
yes.
Elle, you want to talk to us about that?
The Sevens, yeah. So, I actually got asked a load of questions about it. One that was quite interesting was, did I know about it during the Six Nations? And yeah, I did know it in the Six Nations. I kind of, since I was in the Sevens before with Jess, and when it came, we qualified for the Olympics. And then when it came to coming into GB, went into our first GB camp, got some kit, like, yeah, we're in the Olympics now, whatever, still doesn't need to make the team. And then COVID hit, and unfortunately, our contracts, we got made redundant, to put it cleanly. We got made redundant. And my aspiration is always to be the best in the world. Men, women, like, it doesn't matter, just be the best rugby player in the world.
Which egomania has said.
I know he did, bless him.
That.
Thank you. But yeah, no, it's always been that. And in that time it was so difficult because we were all looking for other jobs, other 9-to-5 jobs. I still lived in London, still go to uni now, but close to finishing anyway. And we were trying to find 15s clubs and stuff, and I got a call from Simon Middleton at the time, and he basically had said, look, we've got a contract that we want to give you, but if you take it, you can't do the Olympics. And for me, to this day, that was the hardest decision I've ever had to make. We were this close to the Olympics, and it's something that I'd been training for the past few years, been through long-term injury through the whole thing. The mental battle that I had through that whole 2 years was just so difficult to get over, but with the Olympics in sight, almost got me through it. And anyway, I ended up taking the contract, breaking my heart, and just having that refocus that there was a World Cup was the thing that kept me going. And even coming into the 15s, I really had a really rough journey getting selected. Big thing about my weight, going back to it, and being in the physical shape for a 15s international team as well. And it left this taste in my mouth that I could have done it. And the thing that really highlighted that was when the World Cup got moved. I remember being in that meeting, so we were all sat in Penny Hill, and it got announced that the World Cup was getting moved, and Mids went round to all the Sevens girls, because we had Sevens girls in, went round to all the Sevens girls and patted them on the back and said, oh, well, that's good for us then, because you'll be able to do an Olympics and then come to a World Cup. And he never came to me, and I sat there thinking, sure, he'll put his arm around me and just say, I mean, you could be doing it, but you've signed this now, because it was that they were like months apart, but then it went from a year apart. And I just looked at that screen where the announcement was, and I just thought, have I made the right decision? I'm not getting selected. I could be doing an Olympics, and I've made this choice now. And yeah, it left this like taste in my mouth that I wanted to do it. So when it came to getting our contracts for the next few years and up into the World Cup, we had a new coach in, and I thought, this is my opportunity. If I'm going to ask, I've got to ask now. So I asked him the question. I said, would I be able to be part of the sevens at any point? I still really want to do it. I think it benefits my game in many ways, but also I want to be part of that team again. I want to compete in Olympics, and I want to be the best player in the world. And on the phone, it was so weird. He just went, yeah, why not?
He is an incredible man. Sorry.
Incredible. One of my favourite coaches ever.
I can't even put into words how much he has changed our programme, let alone how I look at England rugby.
In such a short amount of time. Six Nations, basically. Six Nations.
It makes me speechless. Like, sorry, but John Mitchell, you are incredible. You are incredible. You care about us.
Yeah.
You care about the team. You care about the staff. You care about the programme.
Everyone's on an even. For me, what I've noticed as well, everyone is on the same playing field. It's not teacher and student. It's not coach. Well, it obviously is coach and player, but as soon as you're off that pitch, everyone's here.
Yeah. And if you needed to, something happened, it wouldn't, before it probably would have been, I don't want to ask, or I don't know how this is going to go down. Now, I don't even bat an eyelid.
No,
I don't even bat an eyelid. I just ask. And it's a conversation, and he treats you, just so nicely. It actually makes me really emotional because he's so great. And how he's also integrated Jules, his wife, into the programme. Like, I think that just shows to me he is so family orientated, and he also includes us in his family. And I just think that is amazing. And sorry to sidetrack from your story, but I think that shows where you are as well, is that, yes, maybe it was shit, and like it was a tough decision for you to make. And you have to look back and think that was at the time the best decision for me. Yeah. And now the program and the coaching has changed, and it's allowed you to be you. Yeah. And he's allowed you to be like, you know what, go for it. If that's
something that you want to do,
and just try it. And and hopefully you're successful. Hopefully, I pray that you get into that team and you do really well. You and Meg. But I think it just shows the person that he is as well, to be like, Elle, like, go and go put it your best shot.
And that's what he said. He said, look, if it's something that you want to do and you want to believe in, do it. Yeah. He said, all I want to do, all I'm going to ask you is I want you to be able to tell me why. So when people ask me, I can tell them. And I said, that's fine. He gave me a week, I called him back, and I told him exactly why.
Go on then. What's your why?
I don't know word for word anymore, but essentially, I wanted to go to the sevens to compete at a very high level. I respect all the players in the sevens in GB, but also in the whole HSBC group and wider. And I believe to be the best player in the world, you've got to compete at that high level under pressure. And what better place to do it at an Olympics? It's just gaining experience, and ultimately, if you've got something that you want to do, and it's there, and you're like, if you can't do it, or you don't even have the option to try it, it's always going to be there, and you're always going to feel like there's something missing, and you're trying to grab at things, but you're not really sure what you're grabbing at. So I want to challenge myself. I want to, being like yourself, Jess, being viewed as someone who's fast and agile, and being in the 15s, and our backs are blessed with being fast and agile, but actually being in a tournament where everybody is fast and agile, all it's going to do is open different parts of my game, and it's going to make me think differently, so that whether I make that Olympic team or I don't make that Olympic team, it'll put me in better stead for the World Cup in 2025.
And I think you'll put the team, regardless if you go or not, like the training that you'll be able to do with them, you'll put them in, you and Meg will put them in the best place said, forward to go to that Olympics, and they will be happy that you've either contributed or you're going. And I think that's where people need to look at it as, and like it is going to be hard and sad and a challenge from if you do go and take a spot of someone's, but savage as it sounds, that's the game, and you know, that's the sport we're in, and it is about selection. And you know, we both say people were coming up like, you know, 26 now. God, I hate that number. But I remember when I was 18 and trying to fight to get into the England program, and there is 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds behind us coming in trying to fight, and we have to keep batting them off. And it's the same about you going into sevens program. You know, it's a dog eat dog world. So you just got to keep fighting.
Exactly. You got to take every day as it comes, and that's kind of what I'm doing at the moment. I'm not looking too far ahead. I know that it's going to be incredibly difficult. It's going to be a challenge, but that's what I'm wanting to do, and that's why I'm doing it. I want to challenge myself, and I want to keep on pushing on to getting towards my goals, and that's just where what has come up and what I'm doing. I'm grabbing it with both hands and running with it. So, yeah.
Pod.
Rugby Pod.